Hello everybody, this is Maniac for Bricks, and I am here today with set number 70160, Riverside Raid. This is my first Ultra Agents set review. Ages 7 to 12, 88 pieces, 2 minifigures, available in 2014, and retails for $11.99 in any retail store. This is now available from all different stores. Toys R Us did have it early, but there are other stores that now have them in their, Lego aisles. So let's take a closer look at this set now. To start things off, we'll take a look at the box art for the set. And what's really exciting for me is seeing a new themes box art, because it gives me, something to look forward to other than the new theme, as far as the style that they're going for. I wouldn't say it's the most exciting part of the set, though. But what you can see in here, we have the Ultra Agents logo on the top. The top right-hand corner has Ultra Agents versus Atom Acid, so we know the characters that are involved with this set, other than the main area of the box. But what I find interesting is, on all the Ultra Agents boxes, not just this one, but all of them, don't say who the Ultra Agent is in there. They make it a lot simpler than writing out the entire name, or if it's a long name, and they just put Ultra Agents, just to show that it's somebody working in that corporation, if corporation's the right word. But the villain names are mostly simple. I mean, some of the Ultra Agents names can be a little bit long and may stretch out a little bit further. But anyways, we have the mission items shown right here, which I find to be interesting that we haven't seen in the entire scene, instead of the old Agents boxes where they used to have it in the top corner. But it kind of distracts you from what's going on in the set. If you have that crosshair in the way, you might not be able to see other features. And it's not a big problem with this box particularly, but it can happen with some of the other boxes, such as the Ultra Agents Mission HQ, which I don't have, but when I saw it in stores, I felt like it was taking away from some of the other details in the set. Now onward, we have a little scenery background, nothing really big as far as what's going on in the background, but you can kind of see it. Looks like a dock area. We also have something on the bottom that says Plus Free App, and basically what the app is about, you can find it on the App Store and Google Play, and this allows you to access a interactive story, as it says on the top, that involves all the 6 Ultra Agent sets. Now, I've already completed the app, so I already know a lot about the Ultra Agent story in terms of the app. I don't know if it's any different online with the product description. Now, on the back, you can see there's a lot of features going on with this set, and what's really exciting is, for a small set like this, to have so many features involved. What I also like about it is how they have these circles that come out to a different area. This is your main scene, but it also shows you, like, hey, look over here, you can see this action happen. Or, this winch, try that out. So, let's get on to other stuff of the set. I'll stop rambling about the box itself. This set contains very few, but very interesting extra pieces. Nothing too interesting compared to other sets, since we get 1x1s and cheese slopes in many sets, but this one particularly has a 1x2 cheese slope, a robot arm. We have 3 1x1 round pieces, but only one of them is a tile, this one. And then these two they're all translucent, clear, orange, and translucent light blue. This one being a tile. These are just irregular studs. Then we have the 1x1 plate. And as you've noticed, I haven't really gone over the new pieces in this set, because I figured early on, you know what, it's probably not a good idea. I don't want to keep up your time in the videos, so you may have noticed that for a trend for a little bit. But here is an interesting new piece from 2014. This is actually used on the new blasters that have been released in 2014. This is just an extra one, and I guess you can count this as an extra piece of ammo. But, you can't actually do anything with this one. It only attaches to that piece, and you can't attach it to any other pieces, as far as I know. If you have seen my building video, you would have known that there are 2 bags in this set. One that's large for all the large pieces, and I think most of the minifigure pieces are in that bag. This one also has most of your small pieces, like 1x1s. You can check the building video for more as far as the piece distribution. But what's interesting about this set, we also have this little box, and you know what these boxes usually mean. Something fabric is in there. Inside of there was the string attached to this piece. Well, not really a piece, more like a piece of cardboard. But you can see from that video how it's all wound up together because we have a winch that is used in this set. So they put it in special packaging so it's not lost. The instruction booklet that comes with this set is small and is actually made to fold so you can make it easier for storage. I wanted to point out that on the back of this, we don't have the Wind Kit anymore, but instead, we have the Green Ninja, so they're being replaced with minifigures. So here's a look on the inside. Basic instructions, not too hard to follow. But as far as the building experience, you know, it's pretty easy. It's kind of interesting, in fact, especially when it gets to around this step, which I'll talk a little bit about in the review of the set. Just going through here, you know, you got your basic stuff. The background is really not too interesting. It just kind of has a similar design as it does on the front, with those little dotted lines and screens. I don't know exactly what they're called. But here's a look at the back of the instructions, so you can see all the other sets and some of the minifigures posed with their sets. Not particularly with the sets, but you can see them out front. And they also show you the Ultra Agents app. Now, this set was actually released before the app was. The app, I believe, was released on May 30th. Maybe even the 29th. But roughly a day or two before June 1st, its expected date of arrival. Here's the section that shows all the piece count. And basically, the only hard part about building the set is the string. And it's something that is not easy with small hands as well as large hands like mine. They're not too large, but still. It's a little bit tricky to try to get it tied up. And I do apologize if in the review it comes apart. So, let's get to the set itself. Here we have Max Burns. This is our Ultra Agents that is included in the set, and this is the only set that includes this particular agent. I'm not exactly sure, even with looking at the app, if he's considered a rookie, but he is a little bit more experienced than the rookie that you are supposed to be in the app game. He's a very interesting character just by his design, because I like that little suit and tie that he has, but he also has, you know, for nice printing, a little A for agents, and then some little detail on his legs. You could almost say that he's a resemblance to Max from the Lego Club magazine, although I highly doubt that there is a continuity there. I would hope there is, but I don't think it's possible. You got a little bit of torso printing on the back, mainly just some gray lines to show more of the suit, and nothing really special there, but he does have a double-sided face. So, here's the first face of him, kind of confident looking, and then the other side where he's much more serious. You can also see in his hand we have the new blaster for 2014. This is in white, which I don't recall being in any of the other sets as far as other themes, but they are in other Ultra Agent sets. And these are very simple blasters in case you haven't seen them. Only made up of 3 pieces. The gray one I showed you earlier, the white that holds everything together, and then you have the 1x1 stud that fits in there. And simply you just press on the back of it, and it'll shoot off. You only get 2 of these in the set, and you get mainly 2 pieces of ammo. 1 for each blaster. Here's the second minifigure of the set, Adam Acid. That's kind of interesting how they have the alliteration with his name, and I also like how his design is. What he looks like, he seems to have some kind of acid accident, and you can see his arm is in lime green, with some of his torso actually corroded underneath his hoodie, and you can even see a very small bit at the top of the hoodie where he has some more toxic material on him. You can also see, if you look very closely, that his face is actually shown on this side, a little bit of a switch from his torso. And his toxic part of his face is generally supposed to be the rest of his head. But if we take a closer look, you can see a very intricate detail in there for the translucent head piece. I hope it's coming in very clear, because you can see like an area that would be a nose that's actually printed as a small black line. I think it's really well done for the printing on his head, and to give that look, you know, even though it's mostly a translucent headpiece and not a yellow one, to try to give some sort of skin on him. And on the back of him, there is no back printing, except for on the torso. But it's still well done and, you know, wraps around from the front, which makes sense with these little toxic grenades, so it seems. He also carries a regular black blaster, not one like Max Burns. Here are the two first builds of the set. These are small containers that are suggested to be on the good side. Now, I'm not really sure if they're belonging to Ultra Agents or if they're belonging to someone else, maybe some other organization that deals with chemicals. But they do have a similar color scheme to the Ultra Agents with the black and translucent blue. Remember, you're going to see a lot of translucent blue throughout the Agent series, especially in each of their sets. I mean, they have tons of pieces, and this is no exception. These are very small crates, and they really don't offer too much on the outside, but you are able to attach a minifigure hand to them to have Adam Acid steal one away. Some kind of rattling noise I hear. That's because we have in each of these containers a 1x1 cylinder brick that is in translucent green. Very nice that we get each of those with a brick like that, because it gives the effect of there being toxic in there. And that's what was shown on the front, where they showed the mission crosshair around each of these. It's also easy to pull it off, so if you wanted to, you know, create more action with them, you can do so. Next up, we have an Ultra Agents, I guess ATV. It would probably be the best term that I can describe for this. It's a very heavy-duty vehicle that's easy to pilot. It's got a lot of translucent blue pieces around here. Very cool design to it. And as you saw on the cover of the box, it does have a moving back winch, which goes really far out, and I just pulled it out of place. Well, that stinks. I mean, I just didn't tie it off that well, but I guess I tied it well here. What you can do with this is a number of functions. For one, you could have it for pulling back all of the lost crates that were stolen by Adam Acid. And sorry about the cut. Anyways, as we look more onto the model, you can see both of the blasters have spots on both sides, so you can easily fire them, even if you have a minifigure in there. Even though I didn't put him in, there's still enough room that you can shoot on both sides and not have the minifigure hold the weapon. You can also see that the most of the model is on a tilt. And we also have these two sections in the back that can lift up and down. But you also saw in the box, if you were looking carefully, that this whole part comes off and works as a jet ski. The rest of it can be used as a towing station, but nothing really much after the jet ski pops off. When this was attached, you could use it as a way to pull in the boat by hooking it up on the back. Or you could try hooking it on the front. Let's fit our minifigure back in here, where he has enough space to sit or stand. Although, it is best for him to stand for the handle that he has. What I wanted to point out earlier was the intricate design in this section particularly. There were very careful pieces that were put in here so that it holds the handle very well. I actually like that, and it's just more that we could add to our building techniques for when us LEGO builders make mocks. These pieces in the back work as some sort of jet streams that propel the boat forward. That's the idea of them moving up and down when they're on the quad. You could also use this as a way of moving the vehicle around with the projectiles as your weaponry to chase down Adam Acid. Now, the context of the set explained on the app says that Adam Acid is on a boat carrying a bunch of these toxic materials. He's dumping the material into the lake, and the agents chase after him on their jet skis. Now, there was an alternate build to this, and if you give me a moment, I will pull it up. When you play the Ultra Agents free app game, once you complete each mission on the app, you will be able to access some special building instructions for an alternative model for each set. Now, you only get those instructions if you collect all of the intel within the mission. And there are some spots where little hints are given to find each piece of intel. So, now that I've completed the game, I'll be able to show you what you need to build the alternative model. On the instructions, which I have posted on Flickr, on Maniac for Bricks, you will only need a couple parts from this set to make your mini model. You'll need the handle from the jet ski, as well as the propulsion system. And they tell you on there which parts of the set to take off. You'll also need some of the back of the model. And you'll need the lids of these two containers. So you don't have to take apart the entire model in order to build the alternative model. Now, if you'll give me a second, I will build it and come back to you. After building the mini model, we've come to this small hovercraft, which is actually interesting just to get an alternative build, although it does lack a lot of pieces for building it. But it is something that you could build with some of your pieces in your own collection, no matter what color or relatively what element. It's a very easy model to build, and you could probably build it just by looking at it. And it doesn't take too long to build. It only took me about less than a minute, where we have these little propulsions that can still move up and down, and we have the handle that can hold the minifig on here. The minifig is not attached onto studs, so you can move him around if you wanted to. Maybe have him in a sitting position if you so desire, but it doesn't work too well, as you can see. I just found out. So it's better for him to stand, and maybe have him in different poses like this if he's in an intense chase with his small hovercraft. It's not too much, but it's still nice to know that there is alternative builds for this set, as well as the rest of the Agents line, using the Ultra Agents free app. So overall, this was a very cool set to build. I liked all the different functions that came with it, even though it's a small set. The only problem that I really had with this, as far as the building, was putting on this string piece. But that's something that's more of my ability, and not really a fault with the set's design. I also like how, when you put the jet ski back on here, it attaches well enough that it will not fall off after rolling it around. You can see it has a little space underneath there, and a little space on top of here, that suits it just perfectly. I wouldn't recommend pushing on this too much, though, because you don't want to get one of those pieces to fall off. It's not really a big deal, but was just afraid that the bracket piece in the front, as you could see it here, would be bent a little. But there's probably no issue with that, and I probably didn't have to mention that. It's a very cool set to get, and I'm highly recommending that you check it out. Very cool, even if you wanted to just have a small buggy, that you can modify this a bit, and just make it into a city-type vehicle instead of an agent's vehicle. So thanks for watching this video, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time with more LEGO set reviews.